Depression, just as to make you sad, it tells you lies. The lies are, I'm broken, I'm unworthy, or things are never going to get better. But what if the truth was the exact opposite of the lies that you're telling yourself? So today, we're going to uncover the lies your depression wants you to believe, and knowing that identifying those lies changes everything. So let's Josh and Rob this.
All right, what you got, homie?
So let's talk about 3 lies that depression might be telling you. The first is the fact that it distorts reality. Reality can be significantly distorted, like it can magnify the problems that you're having.
Yeah, I would agree that, because I think it depends on the headspace that you're in. If depending on where you're at, it's going to define what happens. This goes back to prior talks we've had about, attitude and outlook and all those types of things and how that's going to affect us.
Yeah, don't you think a lot of times when you're in that depression, I mean, it just feels so, and this is where it gets distorted, it feels so permanent when you're in it.
Well, because that's where Satan wants us. He wants us feeling like we're alone and lost and have no clue what's going on. I mean, that's literally the goal of it. When Satan's got his hooks into you, that's what he wants you to believe.
Yeah, and again, you said it, when you think you're alone, that's a distorted view of what's actually truth.
Well, right? I have a disease known as alcoholism, and all it wants to do is get me alone in a room and kill me slowly. That's it. Because once you start isolating, you start amplifying. And once you've amplified it, it doesn't stop until someone comes in and gets you to realize that that's exactly what you're doing. That it's not as bad as what it is, but you've amplified it to what you have because the thoughts run through your head and there's nobody to stop it.
So you're saying the amplification comes from the churning in your mind?
Absolutely. Sitting there, you're sitting there overthinking and overanalyzing every aspect of what's going on. You have no one who can be there and be a cognitive train of thought for you. I'm an overthinker. I've overthought things 8 zillion times, and 9 out of 10 times the outcomes aren't always good because it depends on the path you're on. When you're in a dark space, that path doesn't really end in light when you're trying to find a way out, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's where isolation is probably the worst thing for you.
Yeah, and that's where things really kind of get distorted. When you're all by yourself and you got those thoughts going through your head, they're typically not positive.
Well, you can talk yourself into anything.
That's right. Yeah, no doubt about it.
I know I can. I've got a laundry list of sins that I could lay out where I've talked myself into it.
Yeah.
That's what happens. You can talk yourself into anything. It's all dependent on the headspace that you're in, whether it's a positive or a negative.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that when I was there in my depression, I mean, literally, the one thing that I will say, I did feel alone, but man, things did feel permanent. They felt like I could not see a way that things were going to change or get better.
Well, no, you don't.
In that moment.
It's supposed to be that way. That's how else do you stay there?
By just focusing on the fact that it's never gonna change. Right? It's a lie.
It is. It's just it's a way to keep you locked into that location. It's a way to keep you wanting more and trying to figure out how to get out.
That's right. Yeah, and again, not taking the step to figure out, reaching out to somebody that might be able to help you. I mean, staying isolated, it's one of the worst things that you can do.
It is. Right? Agreed.
And the second thing is that depression really kind of knocks you down and basically tells you that you're not worthy. You come back to I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, and you just continue to go down this rabbit hole of all these negative thoughts about who you are as a person. And they kind of build on each other.
Well, and I'm just smiling because I have this conversation with people regularly about the fact that once an overthinker starts overthinking things, they head down a rabbit hole. And you either have to find a way to stop running down that rabbit hole or change your train of thought.
Yeah, but that thought is so persistent.
It is, and that's what I'm saying. The only way to get out of that is to not allow yourself to go down that rabbit hole. The second you start heading down that hole, it gets worse. It does not improve. It never gets better because the deeper you dive down the hole, the darker it gets. The darker it gets, the darker your thoughts get. That's literally what happens. This goes back to the things we've discussed before about your attitude and having gratitude for things and trying to find the positives. When you're in that dark space, you don't see any positives. So how are you supposed to pull yourself out of a dark space without seeing positives in front of you?
Yeah, and how can you do that? Do you have any thoughts around that? Once you're, if you're
you have to find that positive thing.
I do think it comes
whatever it may be.
It really, yeah. Go ahead.
Whatever it may be. For me, it was my kids. When I was drinking like I was, the destructive behavior I had, the path I knew I was going to end up on was I was going to either be dead or in prison. Yeah. That was it. So I had to look at whatever I could in front of me to find a positive, and my positive was my kids. My kids deserved a better dad than the one I was. My kids didn't deserve a dad who flew off the handle randomly because they were coloring before school. You know, that's the kind of stuff my kids and I have actually talked about that one recently. My kids are saying that, you remember that day that you yelled at us for coloring before school? I'm like, I don't. Yeah, it was a long time ago, but yeah, I was in a bad space. And I was taking that bad space out on anybody I could. Didn't matter who it was. And again, there I was isolating myself from my own children.
Yeah.
Come on.
And they probably needed you most.
Exactly. Right? And it was over something stupid. Dumb. And when it's over dumb things like that, you just look at yourself and go, really, where am I at? What am I doing?
And those were, I'll say, those were wasted days, right?
Yeah.
I've had my share of wasted days.
100%.
So here's the thing, people out there. Forgive yourself for the wasted days. They're gone, right?
Oh,
the past is the past.
Yep. Let it go.
So let it go. I mean,
can't change it. It's happened. Move on.
Everybody's had wasted days. I know some of you are in your depression because you're thinking right now, man, I wasted so much time, so much energy doing nothing, living in this pit, having these thoughts in my mind, not executing on the things I want to execute on. But you know what? Forgive yourself and move on.
Yep.
It's okay.
Let go and let God.
Thank you for saying that. Yep. That's all you need to do. And the third thing that depression can really cause is a lack of wanting to have change in your life. Fear of change, right? You're there, you're thinking that you want to be different, but you just fear that trying to actually do something to make that change, to get out of this depression, maybe isn't going to do anything. You just fear the fact that nothing's going to work.
And the key to that is the fear. You need to stop letting fear run your life. Stop allowing your emotions to control what you're doing. Get control of your emotions.
That's an easy thing to say and a harder thing to do.
It is,
right?
But your body needs dopamine. Dopamine, on the chemical side, again, we're not doctors, we're not scientists, we're just people who've been down these paths. Yeah, we're none of those things. We're not theologians, we're nothing. We're just a couple of guys who have some ideas that might help.
Trying to figure life out ourselves.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Our body craves dopamine. And when we're depressed, we're depriving our body of dopamine, which is a huge problem. So that's why I said you have to find that one positive thing that brings you some semblance of joy. And for me, it was my kids. Watching them grow, watching them become young women, watching them become people and productive people and members of society. You know, that's what got me going and got me out of that pit, is knowing that they deserve better than what I was giving them. So if you're sitting there feeling that way, you need to find that little bit of dopamine, whether it's going out and going. Some people it's running. Some people, they need to run every day, and that's their way of clearing their head. For me, we call it throttle therapy. You know, jumping in a side-by-side or hopping on my snowmobile or my motorcycle and going out and ripping around or blowing stuff up with my guns. You know, those are the types of things that bring me happiness and joy. Seeing my kids play sports. You got to find those things that bring you joy, and that's the start of getting yourself out of that depression.
And that is the call to action today, right? We talked about 3 things today that are lies as it relates to depression. Number 1, your worth. You are worthy. Number 2, it's distorting your reality. And number 3, it's causing you to not take that step because you're fearing the change. And the call to action today is, to Josh's point, go find that little thing that makes you happy today.
That little bit of joy. That's it. Just
that's all you need to do.
That tiny, itty-bitty piece of joy, whatever it may be. That's it.
Because here's the thing. Your depression does not identify who you are. It doesn't. But here's the thing. You need to take that first step to pull out of it. It takes one small step. And guess what? If you're trying to take that step and it's too big, you got to figure out a way to take a smaller step.
It can define who you are if you allow it to. Anything can. Anything you do can. What you need to remember is you have a choice. You can choose to stay where you are and continue to be miserable, or you can step off the merry-go-round and try something different. We may not have the right answers, but we're giving you something in a different direction. Maybe try that different direction. What's the worst that's going to happen? Seriously, think about that for a second. The worst that's going to happen is your life is going to get better.
That's right.
Because it clearly isn't getting better the way you're living it. So maybe stop living the life you think you need to live and start living the life that people are showing you can live.
That's right. So take that first step. and try and find that joy. Again, this has been Finding Hope in a Suffering Society. I'm Rob.
I'm Josh.
We're here to help you find the beauty
in the darkness.
If you found that light,
please go show your glow to the rest of the world.
Thanks, everybody. See you in the next video.
See you guys.